Right. No, that's just gone 8, so we'll get started. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me this evening. Um, my name is Sarah McLellan, and over the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to be talking you through what Arbonne is and how it works, and honestly, in my opinion, like why it makes absolute sense for every single one of you to, and everyone you know actually, to have a network marketing business as part of your income portfolio. And while I'm super proud of everything I've done in my other career, nothing quite compares to this, and it really wasn't something I was ever looking for at all. And I think I probably speak for most of the consultants on this call if you're a consultant. I didn't go out looking for this either. It just has a way of finding you actually when you least expect it. So a little bit of background about me. I live in Camberley in Surrey and in the UK, and I'm a mum of two. And like most of us, I was incredibly busy 14 years ago when I first heard about Arbonne. I used to be an events manager for a medical charity, which I loved despite the long hours. But actually, when my kids came along, I needed something that would fit around them. So I freelanced from home for a while, and that kind of worked around the kids. But as the economy went into recession and people were cutting back on running events and needing freelancers like me, we really just couldn't rely on that at all. So I've been thinking about how I could work smart and around everything else. And, I wanted to be that present mom, as I said, build something around all of that and and be there actually as they went into their teenage years, because I just thought, for me personally, I just thought actually that to me is a more important time to be around and not be running around and on trains and planes and running and doing all the long hours that I used to do. I wanted something that would generate another income and actually be paid what I was worth, and something that would give me a sense of purpose and drive and work with people actually that inspired me. But I had no idea if that even existed. So this is when I was introduced to Arbonne. I really wasn't sure it would be a fit for me. I knew nothing about health and wellness or the network marketing industry, and I wasn't really interested in them either, if I'm being really honest. And well, actually, when I sat down and heard the full story from my brother, I realized this could be the answer that I was looking for, because I could see back then, even 14 years ago, the global market was, and it still is, wide open. And there was a continual demand for these types of products, and it was online. It was easily scalable. It could build time leverage, and it could generate a reoccurring income stream over time, which was willable. And none of that I had with my events business. So, and my brother asked me a key question actually, and that is kind of what took me from kind of thinking about this to taking action. And he said, "Where do you see yourself 5 years from now if you don't change anything? And how does that look financially?" And actually, my answer to that made me realize to do something different, sorry, to have something different, I needed to do something different. So I started building my business part time around my young family. My kids were 4 and 6 when I started, and around my events freelance work. And I was also running the school PTA at the time as well. And it's quite busy. So, and I'm so glad I did actually, because a few years later in 2015, I was actually diagnosed with breast cancer completely out of the blue. And I was so grateful that I'd already prepared for impact, because this business supported me throughout that time and continues to do so. So, to the present day, I just think in 2025, more than ever, it's just sensible to build multiple streams of income around busy lives. And everyone I'm speaking to is sort of saying the same. I need to do something else alongside my job. I could see what's typical on the average earnings, and I'd always send people to earnings.arbonne.com to see that in whichever country you're in. But actually, what excited me was what was possible with time and effort, because there was no glass ceiling on earnings. And how empowering as a woman, especially with that. And I've never had that in my career. So I love sharing this information with everybody to see if it could be a fit for them or somebody that they know. So Arbonne is the original clean beauty brand, and Before that was a trend, and it's been driving the healthy living movement forward for over 45 years and creating positive change within the health, wellness, and beauty industries. And Peter Mork was our founder. He believed that most chemicals found in skincare were just not beneficial. He created Arbonne, which specialized in botanically based, ultra premium products, and he really was a pioneer within the industry. Because in 1980, he had this vision that no one else had back then. He wanted to create an exceptional product that no one else was creating at the time and couple it, interestingly, with an income opportunity that with time and effort would allow the ordinary person to go out and create an extraordinary life if they were willing to do the work. So now we are a global brand. We're trading in 6 countries in the UK, Poland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and America. And we're actually owned by a $2 billion company called Group Rocher, and they're a French multinational, and they're in over 100 countries. So they're helping us with our globalization going forward. So an online opportunity, and we all know, don't we, with the power online, it's just never been easier to build a global business alongside a brand like Arbonne. You just need your phone and some Wi-Fi. So why wellness? Well, Arbonne is a B Corp, and quite often I say to people, if you're going to research anything after you've heard this or somebody has spoken to you about this, research what it takes to become a B Corp. It's a third-party certification awarded to companies who are the best in the world at what they do, and they're balancing the people and the planet alongside profit. And we're actually one of the top wellness, top scoring companies in the wellness sector. And more and more, this is what the conscious consumer is looking for, because it's a very crowded market these days. They want a brand they can trust, that's transparent and is results driven. So to give you an idea of the size of the industry, Arbonne's at the intersection of e-commerce, which is worth $6.3 trillion, and wellness, which is currently a $5.6 trillion industry, and it's set to grow by 57% to 8.5 trillion by 2027. And those figures from Bloomberg.com. And that's massive. It's one of the biggest industries in the world. So I'm really interested, like, what's fueling that? Well, in the US, for example, 10,000 people are turning 65 every single day. And in the UK, it's 2,000 people. And these baby boomers are looking to, fight aging, to look and feel younger. And as we're all living longer, they're also looking for an income to supplement the pension, and to maybe not have to work full time forever and have that kind of, work-life balance. And then you've got Gen X and Gen Y and millennials, tech savvy, environmentally conscious, they're label readers, they love our products and they love that kind of work from phone business. And I can see that in my family. I've got an 18 and a 20-year-old, and they've been going to the gym for a few years now. They've got full skincare routines. And you can see the awareness actually and kind of how it's changed since certainly I was that age. There's certainly an increased awareness of looking after your gut, the gut microbiome, kind of brain link, and the link with mental health as well. And all of this is contributing to that growth. So, and the other element, which I think is so important, is being part of a positive community. It's not the reason I joined Arbonne. I joined Arbonne to build a business and make some money. But it's a huge part of it now. It's a huge part of why I'm in Arbonne. And we sit at the heart of that. So to own a business in the wellness community, but that also ticks so many boxes of what consumers are looking for, really is huge. So leading on from that, what sets Arbonne apart from, let's face it, the myriad of wellness companies out there? There's a lot out there. We offer around 250 daily consumable, high quality, plant-based, vegan certified products for the entire family. Covering skincare, body care, cosmetics, and nutrition. So they're non-toxic, they're certified gluten-free, they are PETA approved, they're cruelty-free, they're non-GMO, and so they're hitting every major trend that's out there right now. And we ban over 2,000 harmful ingredients as well from our products. And the standard in the EU, for example, is 1,600, so we go above and beyond that. We're all about healthy from the inside out, and we've got products for everyone, from baby care right through to anti-aging and nutritional supplements, all of which we all use. So the two core lines you can see on the screen here are anti-aging skincare and nutritional supplements. And here's what I recognized when I started using Arbonne. We spend thousands of pounds in our lifetime on these types of products. And, I was thinking about the other day, for most people, take the skincare, for example, if it doesn't kind of make them look worse, then that's kind of okay. People just kind of carry on with it, don't they? And it's not until you use something that actually works at a cellular level and makes your skin glow that you realize actually you potentially wasted quite a lot of money over the years. So, and just for sort of comparison, like I'm 50, I've turned 50, I'm nearer 51 actually than 50, and had breast cancer 10 years ago. And just my skin, I have to say, and health has never been better. So if you're not already using the Derm Results Advance, which is the image here in the middle, give it a go. There's a 90-day money back guarantee. And likewise, kind of educating yourself on gut health, that's so important too. Healthy habits are key. And that's why our 30 Days to Healthy Living plan is so powerful, kind of eating clean and taking plant-based nutritional supplements. And so let's just take this one product, for example. It's something I have every single morning. It's actually a 3-in-1 product. It's Green Synergy Elixir. One stick has got pre and probiotics, digestive enzymes, greens, a collagen builder. There's nothing else like it in the marketplace. So if all you do after you've watched this is try that, you'll be doing your health a massive favour. So, when your gut health is in order, everything changes for the better. The brain fog lifts, you have more energy, you have better sleep, the list is endless, and no one ever regretted taking care of their skin and their health. And that's brilliant to be aligned with a company like this, because not only are products really effective, but they're also highly consumable. People purchase them, they use them daily, they run out and they reorder them. And that is great for business, isn't it? Because that's how I came at this business. I didn't actually try a product before I started this. My brother, explained to me and said to me, think about the things you use regularly. And when they run out, you reorder them. Because way before I started doing Arbonne, I was already showering, I was already buying these types of products, but I was buying them from other places, on the high street. And so it's a good business move to be in consumables, isn't it? So have a think to yourself, like, what have you used today? Have you taken a shower? Have you washed your hair? Have you brushed your teeth, washed your face, used a body moisturizer? A deodorant, a face moisturizer, maybe an eye cream? Have you taken in nutritional supplements? Hopefully you're wearing SPF at the moment, because we're having a lovely summer in the UK. You should wear it all the time, but especially at the moment. So you get the idea, everybody uses products like this, some more than others. They're kind of like groceries, aren't they? When they run out, we buy them again. We don't really think about it because we need them. And think about all the people around you that are doing exactly the same thing. We spend money on these types of things, so does everybody else. They're really not a high purchase decision. So Arbonne operates through the network marketing business model, and it's a proud member of the Direct Selling Association, which basically means we're the opposite to the high street and retail. So Arbonne don't spend any money on advertising, on TV, on magazines, or paying celebrities to endorse the brands, unlike high street and online brands. So it gives the consumer the opportunity to shop direct effectively with the manufacturer. So instead, Arbonne pay the people who use and recommend the products authentically, us, the other, all the consultants. It allows Arbonne to invest more money in research and development and to have those cutting edge products, because they're not spending that money on all of the advertising costs, which are huge. So network marketing is just a method of distributing a product to the consumer in the most direct and efficient way. So we differ to traditional retail because we cut those middlemen out that you can see on the top line there, and they save a lot of money in the process. So they're paying the people, not the process. I realized when I looked at this that I was already doing network marketing. So whether I'd recommended a place, a holiday, a great night out I'd had, or, the latest Netflix show, or shared a great experience somewhere on social media, we do this all the time. The power of word of mouth recommendation is huge, isn't it? And we all love a recommendation. And I just had to think, like, have I found a brand, that I can align with that will pay me for it? And I hadn't up till that point. So in network marketing, when a purchase is made online, the products go from our manufacturers straight to our consumer's door and they cut the middlemen out. So Arbonne handle all of that, which means you don't have to hold or order any stock or go delivering any products or handle any returns. Arbonne do all that for us. And I was really pleased about that because my impression of this type of business before I looked at it was that I would have to do all of those things. So the benefit of that is being able to provide the end consumer with an ultra premium product for a really great price. The benefit to us, we can partner with a 45-year-old legacy company and we can earn commissions on sales, not just once, but every single time somebody linked to us goes back online, reorders their products and has them delivered to their door, because they're obviously highly consumable. So that just made absolute business sense to me. So how does it work? Well, to start, I got my website that was linked to my brother's because he was the one that told me about it, and I had all of the products available on it for an annual fee of £50, and I got a great wholesale discount of 35%. So I started switching over what I was using, got some products to get familiar with the brand and start using myself and sharing with people. So customers can shop directly from my website and we're paid between 15 and 35% on each of those transactions. And we're actually paid weekly on those. And it's delivered directly to that person's door by Arbonne. As I said, I don't have to hold any stock. So I gathered together family and friends and shared this brand and the concept, and that could be in person over a coffee, could be online like tonight or watching back, the recording, and shared the information like we're doing now. And then the other part of the business, the network marketing side, is me showing you how to purchase your own website in the country you're in, get the same wholesale discount, start switching your brand and what your household uses, and teaching you what I was taught, which is stop, start, share. So stopped buying from other brands, started to buy better quality products from a B Corp, from our own online store, and save money because of our consultant discount of 35%. I then help people that have joined me share that concept with others so that they can benefit too. So that's the power of the network marketing business model, and it's step and repeat from then onwards. So you introduce a few, who introduce a few, who introduce a few. So some people say yes to the business, some say not right now and become a customer, but everyone's washing with Arbonne and shopping online when they run out because these are consumable products and they're really great and they work and you want to use them again. So we show people how to just save money on incredible products as a customer, if that's what they want to do, or save money and make money as an independent consultant. It's really that simple. So that to me was the real genius, because when you build a team online and in different time zones, that's your business turning over while you sleep. And that is such fantastic leverage because you can scale this up over the multiple countries that we're in. So remember that each of these people on this screen has got an entire network of people that you've never met, which means that new clients and new team members can join your business globally without you having met them before. So fast forward for me 14 years, and I've got thousands of people in my organization, some enjoying a wholesale discount direct from the manufacturer, some actively sharing the products with people, some building global teams and building their own businesses. And because at one point I was that original referral, I get paid a percentage on all of those repeat transactions in my business. So kind of similar to royalties, from songwriting, for example. I'm sure you're familiar with that. You don't get that when you just buy your skincare from a department store, your nutrition from, a shop on the high street. So for this reason, the scalability potential of a network marketing business was huge for me. And that's what I saw from the beginning. The genius of this business model is the ability to leverage my time, because on my own, I couldn't possibly create all of this, but when you coach others to do what you do, showing them how to use and recommend, the scalability is huge. So they can benefit in the same way, they can build a business, and importantly, they can out earn us if they want, if they work harder, they do more, for longer and speak to more people. And that's really important. So it's the opposite, isn't it, of what we're taught in schools. Traditional employment, self-employment models, that's traditionally what we're taught, what we're sort of taught to go into, out of school. And that limits us, doesn't it, by trading our time for money, working an hour, getting paid an hour. It's what most of us are familiar with. It's certainly what I had in my freelancing business. And as we know, there's only so many working hours in a day, and therefore only so many paychecks in a lifetime. And that was my personal light bulb moment, because I was just thinking, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of mine. So we also leverage of Arbonne, of 45 years of their success, their solid business, their marketing, their branding, their customer service, their production, all for £50 for a business that you can run from your phone. And we leverage off the internet, an online business that's open 24/7, 365 days of the year, and operating obviously in 6 markets currently. So what are the different ways you can be involved? Well, you can build this as big or as small as you would like. There are different ways to benefit. So a client buys at retail, essentially. A preferred client gets a 20% discount as a customer. Great benefits, free product, free shipping for a £10 annual fee. A replenish me customer is a bit like kind of having a subscription box and setting that up monthly or 3 monthly or 6 monthly, however you would like it. And they've got the added benefit of a £40 credit on every 4th order. And independent consultant, which is what I am. And so there's actually 4 levels of success in Arbonne. There's district manager, there's area manager, there's regional vice president and national vice president. And each level essentially has got additional benefits, and the percentages increase as you go through, as your team grows and that volume of sales grow. And as I said at the beginning, go to earnings.arbonne.com for the average earnings at each level. Now, importantly for me, and this is what got my attention, when you get to the 2nd level, which is area manager, your business is now willable. And you can pay that forward to somebody in your family, and they can continue to benefit from what you've built, over the years. And I don't know, anywhere else that's actually possible. Certainly not in the career that I was in. I know that in my previous job, if anything had happened to me, they were not going to pay my family for decades afterwards. But in this business, when you've built a solid, sustainable business, and you can pay that forward, it really is, I think, a very powerful part of this business, and one of the main reasons that I started way before I knew I was gonna, be ill and all of those things. So we've also got incentive trips that you can earn at every level. I've earned 7 over the years since I started, and they are absolutely amazing trips. My kids absolutely love them. And the training, I don't think we talk enough about that. It's incredible. We have weekly team trainings, we have mentoring and support. There is so much on offer. You just need really a desire to do this. So the earning potential, I've talked about some of it. There's 3 ways to earn. We can earn up to 35% on customer purchases each time they order. As I said, that's paid weekly. We have a 1 to 18% scaled override on the volume that you and your team are generating as a whole. And there's 4 levels of success, as I said, and there's cash awards at each of those at every level. So some earn less, some earn more, but it's all available with work and commitment, like any business, because, this allows people to create what they would like, dependent on their time, their effort, and their consistency, and there's no glass ceiling. So this is my favorite slide, actually, the global one. So I really sort of think, if you're an entrepreneur or you're looking for a side hustle, Arbonne is definitely worth you taking a look. And if you're looking for clean results driven products, this is also for you. And so, as I said at the beginning, Arbonne trades in 6 countries currently, and it's expanding very soon. We're in the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, and Poland. So have a think who you know, or who you know knows somebody in one of those countries. Our parent company, Group Rocher, they're in over 100 countries. And Deloitte did a survey a few years ago, and Arbonne still only has a 1% brand awareness in the US. So even though we have lots of growing to do, there is still so much growth in the countries that we're already in. And what is so fascinating is it can take one conversation for you to have a business growing on the other side of the world. So really think about the possibilities. I told my neighbour, who told her friend, who told her friend, who was married to a New Zealander. And when we opened in New Zealand 9 years ago, they decided to move back there. And she took her business that she'd grown to a substantial level here to New Zealand, because this is portable, it's online. And so I have a very big leg of my business in New Zealand now because of that. I have another separate leg of my business in New Zealand through a lovely lady who I met when we were both poorly 10 years ago. So you just never know when you're going to meet people, when you're going to have a conversation with people. And actually that's the same, my business in Canada and America, etc. So when I started this, I didn't know anybody in the other countries. I was sort of thinking who I knew here, but it's so much bigger than that. And, I just thought when I started this, what's the worst case scenario? I would have some lovely products to use that would hopefully make me look younger, be healthy, and all the good stuff. And what's the best case scenario if I was coachable and learned how to build this business? The income, the community, the personal growth, the ripple effect of that into every area of my life. We've all started day one at something, haven't we? And we've learned what to do. And this is no different. So if you love what you currently do, then great. This is something extra to give you choices in the future. And have a think about what you want for your future. What would an extra £1,000 a month mean to you, or £5,000 a month mean to you? So it's different for absolutely everybody. I realized I was always going to buy these type of products for the rest of my life. And so I just thought to myself, are the brands I'm currently using, are they serving me? Do the products work? Are they good for me? Does the brand, provide me with a community? Do they pay me repeat commissions whenever I recommend their products? And the answer was no. And so it made sense to align with a business like Arbonne. It was smart, and I've never looked back. So, it's just to close, I want to invite you to think about these questions, that my brother actually asked me when I started. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now if you don't change anything? And how does that look financially? If you lost your current source of income, how long could you live on your savings? And are you where you thought you'd be at this point in your life? And I think most of us would probably say no to that, because there's always things you want to do, isn't there? Or be, or whatever. And finally, if money was no object, how would you spend your day? And let's take that a step further. Who do you know who maybe loves to travel, or would love to be a digital nomad, or is into health and fitness, or would like to earn money on their own schedule, or maybe would like a future exit strategy from their career further down the line, or would like to look and feel best, look and feel their best with safe products? And I think by thinking of the answers to these questions, you're really kind of doing the business. And so why not give it a go? You've really got nothing to lose. The worst case is you end up using great products with a lovely discount. Network marketing is the best profession because it's so accessible, it's simple to start, and anyone can learn it and do it. And you really can tailor it to your lifestyle. And I would just urge you, I am just so grateful I started a plan B before I needed it, before I had to prepare for impact. And things are always going to happen to us in lives, whether it's job related, relationship related, health related. And so 14 years ago, I got over myself and started this, and I hope you do too. And whether you decide to become a client or a consultant, the time to start is now, and there really is no time like the present. So thank you for listening. Please reach out to the person that shared this with you or invited you on tonight to get started or to get clarification on anything. And it's been absolutely lovely talking to you tonight. So thank you so much, and have a good evening. Take care.